Now I would like to talk how Democrats need to prepare themselves for 2026, how to win 2026. So, because 2026 is crucial. If we win 2026, we basically guarantee we will have 2028. But but first we need to have a strategy to win in 2026. How we win in 2026? The thing that I think that we need to focus on 2026, we need to stop talking about the democracy or fascism. There are things that should not be mentioned in the 2026 campaign. People running for election should not talk about fascism or the end of democracy because people don't care about that. It's sad, and I'm sorry, and some people might disagree with me, and that is fine. If you disagree with me, you'll say, yeah, we need to talk about that, but yeah, we need to talk about that, but that should not be the main message like it was in 2028. In 2024. That is why we lost the election in 2024, because we talk about too much about democracy and how Trump was a fascist and authoritarian. How much will that give us? Nothing. Kamala lost the election. Nobody care about democracy because this is the true reality. People in America don't care about democracy. You know what people care about in America? You know what people care about? Money. That is the only thing that people care about in America. Money. How am I doing? Am I doing well? That is what people care. And that is why Kamala lost. Kamala lost because the economy, because people thought they were not doing good economically, and they needed somebody to blame. And because Kamala belonged to the Biden administration, and she wasn't criticizing Biden enough, that is why she lost, because they associated Kamala with the Biden administration. And what they associated with the Biden administration, they making less money, food costing more, and people not being able to afford anything. So what we should do on 2020, we should focus on tariffs. Every time that you have a chance to talk to people about politics or anything, bring tariffs. Bring it up. Bring tariffs. Talk about tariffs. Talk about how tariffs are a tax to consumers. Explain to people, because that is something that people don't seem to get, how tariffs are a tax on consumer. Because the China is not paying the tariffs. It's the American people paying the tariffs. And explain that to people every time that you have a chance. Talk about the tariffs. Talk about how terrible tariffs are. I don't care. Talk about tariffs. And that is why Democrats need to do on national level. They need to talk about tariffs. Don't talk about me about democracy. I'm sorry, I know democracy is important and we should fight about democracy. But we cannot fight for democracy if we don't have power. We need to fight for democracy. We need to gain power first. And how do we gain power? We talk about tariffs, what people care. People care about money, about not having enough money to buy a new Switch too. That's what people to buy the new iPhone. How they love the iPhone they love so much. It's going to get so much expensive because of tariffs. It's how you win elections. You don't win elections but talk about democracy. Talking about democracy is how you lose elections. Bottom line here, like I will say, people don't know what democracy is. People know what democracy is. I think I've been rephrasing that the wrong way, and I apologize for that. But people might ask and say, what democracy has done for me. and they don't see that democracy has done a lot for them. But after Trump leaves office, people are going to love democracy. That is the thing about Trump. Trump is going to make America more powerful. In the sense that after Trump, we won't have another Trump. People are going to be more vigilant of Trump. Hey, please subscribe first, comment. I'm trying to grow this channel, so please do that first of all. But now, let me talk about the thing. Trump tells Walmart they should eat the cost of the tariffs. The man calls the tariffs, and he expects the Walmart and other retailers to eat, just to eat the cost of the tariffs. Things don't work things don't work like that. And that is what people don't understand. For the longest time, people thought that China was paying the tariffs. China's not paying no tariffs. The American people is paying the tariffs. Tariffs are a tax on consumers. It's just what they are. Tariffs are a tax on consumers. It's just what tariffs are. Tariffs are not more than a tax on you. Especially on poor people. That is the thing that you need to understand. Tariffs are a tax on poor people because most poor people cannot already afford much, and you put tariffs, and now it's even worse for them. Tariffs don't really affect the rich. Besides the things they are importing for China be more expensive, but what tariffs the people that tariffs really afford or the poor and the working class in this country. Tariffs, that is the reason why tariffs are a terrible idea. Tariffs are a regressive taxes, like sales taxes. They only, they hurt middle and poor working class because if you don't have the money, if you already don't have the money, and you have to pay more for something, and you already don't have money, that'll be harder on you. You see, so that is what I say. Tariffs, and that is what I want Democrats to be talking about on the campaign trial in 2026. The tariffs are a consumer, a tax on consumer. Democrats should be running on repealing these tariffs. Because, and they need to be clear to the people. We need to be clear to the people that tariffs are not a tax on China. China's not paying no tariffs. You are paying the tariffs. We are paying the tariffs. I pay the tariffs. The tariffs are a tax on me and you, the consumer, not China. China's not paying the tariffs. The tariffs are. Let me be clear. I think because I don't want to create any more confusion. The ones that pay the tariffs are the American buyer. In this case, Walmart. Walmart is the one who paid the tariffs, but because Walmart is a business, it needs to make money. Who do you think Walmart is going to pass the cost of the tariffs to the consumer? And that is what anyone opposing this regime, the Trump, strong administration needs to talk about the tariffs are a tax on poor people and middle class people. And tariffs is the thing that can unite everyone, because tariffs is not only screwing poor people and middle class people, but it's also messing with money. And you don't mess up with money. That is the thing that I want everybody to understand here. You mess with people, with regular people, with the working class, or you want. And we don't have the power to fight back, but you don't mess with money. And that is what he's losing. That is what is ultimately going to bring these men down, because you don't mess up with money. Thank you for watching. I would like to see people commenting and leaving a like. I would like to see 10 likes on this video. Thank you and God bless you.